what the secret source is here, because again, it looks like Yotaro could have really capitalized on the initial breathing space they were given, and then it just started falling apart a little bit, you know. I think maybe trying to go a bit too aggressive there wasn't the play. I think they saw they had the breathing room and they tried to get cheeky. You know, sometimes you have to count your chickens before they've hatched. Sometimes you have to kind of be like, okay, let's just go by the book. Let's slow and steady wins the race. Let's, you know, okay, we've been given library. Why don't we just start trying to work some vertical? Why don't we start, you know, trying to find alternative ways to apply that pressure? Again, granted, you know, they did drop down fireplace, but even when you drop fireplace, you have to worry about someone lurking on staircase, right? You still have to worry about the backlight stairs, the boost stairs, you'll call them. Like, you need to have that kind of pressure there. More dimensions to these approaches is, I guess, what I'm saying. You know, you do need to start applying that, or things are going to spiral out of control real quick.
I think one addition I would make to your comment is not only did Sons of Peter fall back relatively quickly and early, but also in a very intelligent way. They still held the positions that if Yotaro was taking control over side, they could still recapitalize on the previously given away spots. Well, new round, solid lead thus far, 3-1 for Sons of Peter. We did see Aki in the car garage. Thus far, there's nobody interfering with him. Typically, first, as always, you're trying to get the main breach open, then shift towards the back side. If you have a player in there and it might be over-droned, could be quite good. Also with the pre-placed C4, if there's anybody running around upstairs towards that trophy section and he's coming close to the C4, it could be a deadly surprise. But he's staying patient, not using the C4 so far, as it could maybe be used later on also quite well.
I think that's the main concern here, right? Akwi is still in garage. Yotaro have to work out which approach they're taking for this garage still. Akwi kind of staying there, remaining undroned, remaining unchecked. Yes, you've got some hatches open, but we should be thinking about how, oh, there we go, Lolo actually dealt with. Again, Akwi, look, Akwi is still there. Look, because why would you move, right? They are not really making themselves clear to the defense as to where they're pushing from. So it's perfectly acceptable for Akwi to still be there. But at this point, you would assume that some calls will be coming out from Dora. And this is where maybe Akwi will get a little bit closer to that backstairs, right? Because you might want to try and contest, maybe go for a flank, maybe back up your teammate a little bit more. Verticality coming through even more so. Pressure being applied, but look at the timer. And again, they have to make something work here. They have to go for this eventual execute. Remember how it went last time? Those keeper barriers really causing a nuisance for the side of Yotaro as they went for that plant.
Absolutely. Dora just finding a frag onto Zodiac. And it's exactly that pressure upstairs. He's still there. Now he's able to get away quite far, but he's still around. Could still be a threat to the attack. And as I say it, frags falling in favor of Yotaro. They're picking up some speed. Not yet on side. Raiden takes a little bit of damage. Tezzy is actually on the floor right now. Will be able to be rested by a Skyper. But that takes a lot of time. Is it still enough to bring it towards that point, or will they be able to find Tap as well as Packbull onto themselves? Packbull finds one, Akari, and then it's Skype, and then it's so easy. Well, that was all in one card, but a perfect bet.
Wow. Like, I was just like, okay, Yotaro, look, they're cooking something here. I thought they were going to try and distract from garage and try and sneak the plant in that way. And that kind of vaguely looked like they were trying to do. And then, you know, obviously push that pressure towards split. But again, you've got to be mindful of those people lurking in blue. And, you know, the immediate shutdown did come through from Sons of Peter too. You know, they knew, yeah, they're going to try and go for this. They're going to try and make this approach. A very sloppy round on both sides, realistically. But again, Yotaro finally getting another round under their belts. Maybe that will perk them up somewhat. Sons of Peter ideally need to keep this advantage now. If they can end on a 4-2 split, that's nicely going. If they end this even Stevens, that's when I'm going to start kind of grumbling a little bit. Because this has been a really nice showing from them so far. And again, I wish Akwi could have capitalized a little bit more, because I love a rat play. I'll be honest. I am a rat through and through, and I love to see it when players especially players like Akwi, you know, especially players like Akwi are ratting about in the server, lurking in the shadows, and they're remaining, and this is the important part, unchecked. They're remaining unchecked, and I think, to be honest, Yotaro will go back at the squad and kind of be kicking themselves a few times a little bit, because I think there's going to be a few times where they've been like, oh, we lost that round because we were literally not getting that information we needed.
I mean, we wanted to highlight Aki more, as we said, after map number 1. And I think he's certainly trying to deliver, even though obviously that action there, unfortunately nobody was paying into him, but imagine how crazy impactful that play could have been if nobody would have spotted him. And in the last couple of seconds, they're coming down West Main, and he just shoots him in the back. It's those little moments, especially when the time counter is really low, when you can shine the most, because even if it's just a single player out and then just hiding, also so much chaos, so much disturbance that it can mean if you win or if you lose the round. And I mean, a single round, we've seen this in the past a lot of times, can clearly mean the world to the game.
Absolutely.
Setting up a sequential breach.
Prepping, setting up. Again, that wall and dining should get open nice and quickly. The main oversight last time, I believe, they didn't get that upstairs open, right? Okay, already running into a little bit of kerfuffles. The Natrix coming through. The problem is, though, if you get dining wall open, you have to be mindful. I've touched on this before. You have to be mindful of upstairs, right? You have to get that office wall open too. You have to clear out people, or they can deny potentially on that vertical. There should be prep holes there if Sons of Peter have done the kind of standard wombo combo you like to do there. Once again, Yotaro going for it again, being stoic about it, going for it, trying to make it work. And there we go, another nade. And that causes a little bit of a ruckus, because there's a tiny hole, but again, you'd have to snake through that. It's not going to happen.
At least you can get some sort of pressure onto its side. Skyper opening frag onto a key. Top floor, still a lot of control, but also a lot of fighting going on. Yotaro definitely wants to control over that. And we do see the player currently being positioned, I think, in the walk-in closet. Now drop down Solar. Certainly, I think, the right call to go back in towards safety. Hood. We also did see a Packball going even down further into safety. And, I mean, it makes sense. The Yokai is already spread on side. He can just position them wherever he needs them to in order to capitalize as much as possible. Tap C4, beautiful landing on Raiden. Effectively bringing us to a 4v4 situation. 30 seconds. Let the race begin.
And there's been a lot of that, hasn't there, this map? A lot of these kind of 20, 30-second moments where it's like, okay, are they going to start trying to... Oh, cook! There we go! Akari has been cooked by Dora. Beautiful reaction time there. And Skype is going to try and find these lines. It's like gets dealt with, gets taken out. Zodiac trades that back, though.
10 seconds left.
This plant starts to go down. Packball, look at this on that Yokai. Can they deal with it? I don't think they can. You need to try and stick it. The timer is running out. This is so unfortunate. And there we have it. Wallow is able to secure that, taking out Zodiac. That was, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. And again, another round where they haven't known where that Yokai is. The Yokai's put in the shift, as of course it will. And it's gone really in the hands of Sons of Peter, regardless of the time on the table. Well, I say regardless of the time on the table. If anything, more time would be certainly useful then. I do beg your pardon. But the side is going to switch over now. Yotaro will be going on that defense, and this is where they need to kind of brush themselves off a bit, not let the Jimmies be rustled too much. They need to try and say to each other, okay, we're maybe going to have a better time. I think from what I remember, Yotaro do have a very strong defensive half, despite the fact it's Chalet Olay. And sometimes, you know, it is kind of expected people will show up on that attacking side, but it's so back and forward depending on what team it is, right? It's so back and forward, but I do believe that Yotaro have a nice little defense from stuff we've seen. What is especially spicy right now, and I really hope this is going to stay, is Akwi on that Amaru, because it means from the get-go that potential zip up to Solar, clear the top floor like that, whilst the rest of them faff about around Library. You've also then essentially dealt with, one, the flank, and two, anyone that's lurking around that kind of top fireplace position, piano position, ready to deal with the approach from Library. So let's see where Akwi is going to go. Very excited to see how this goes.
Well, you are being delivered, Capital, now. You asked for it, and Sons of Peter is delivering. Let's see if, I mean, as always, Bar Games is the spot, and you have that expectation of library being contested, and you can make that work as an attacker by bringing in the capital flare arrow. For the time being, if I saw it correctly, but I might be wrong, there's nobody really playing around that deadly corner. Cam hacking with the Brava. Drones currently also working out quite well. And as I say that, Tab is getting into position. But yeah, the drones should give it away. The arrows still, of course, are really useful. Both the smoke as well as the fire arrows. But at least not in the way you were thinking about it. Not yet.
I mean, it's also going to say, like, it's a lot of patience, a lot of utility work coming through from Sons of Peter regardless. They are getting prepared to cook up a bit of a treat. Granted, you know, not the approach I thought it was going to be, but it's still a fair approach nonetheless. And
Torch is hot.
you do have those flashes on Acqui too to start to flash out, you know, through that wall, or even, you know, heading to make sure no one can really push from Piano as aggressively. And they're trying to get stuck in again. 9 times out of 10, if you're sending flashes like that, you are expecting someone behind that split wall, but Raiden is going to catch out Dora. Gorgeous. Gets traded out by Packball. Kari gets one. Can he also deliver some punishment from above? Acqui will deal with him, so unfortunately that isn't going to happen. Jethro currently with the advantage, but bit of a rotate here. Looks like they might go stuck in, might get a bit more direct, but Acqui's actually going to zip up to the top. I think Library is pretty empty now. And it's doubtful that they would have heard that quick approach either, so this could be a little bit sneaky from Acqui. Will anyone get caught out? Davey, you have to try and make a move. This is oh, please, no. This is maybe the passiveness starting to trickle through again from Sons of Peter. I want to see Acqui get stuck in, get your teeth out, get your claws in. Just missed the player just slightly. Zodiac ducking and diving, is aware that Acqui is on the hunt now. Lolo is going to take out Tazzy, but there we go. No, Acqui is dealt with. Zodiac goes big.
1v1 frag has been made for Lolo onto Zodiac. Now, 15 seconds, give or take. Door open up onto her side. There's a yellow ping. They know exactly where he is. Vision is gone. And that's enough for Skyper to finish off Lolo. My oh my, they had the call out the entire time. That round could have gone wrong so badly. But fortunately, they kept it alive and are expanding further, or at least are kind of getting closer towards that potential tie for the time being. For 3, I would still say that, of course, the defense side as they play right now should benefit them a bit more, especially also the bans, if I bring that up again. Ging, Grim, relatively aggressive operators, which obviously can be super useful here on that map. Just make it a bit easier on the defensive side.
I think that's the thing, right? When you're taking something like Ying away from a side like Yotaro as well, where they do have that clockwork fluidity we've touched on, you know, they play really well, they play in perfect timing. They're 3-2-1s on absolute lock 9 times out of 10. And a big part of, you know, default 3-2-1 kind of strategies is, you know, either having kind of flashes or that utility if you're not going for those swings together. It's essentially clipping their wings somewhat in a way, and we've seen them before really fall into that Ying. This is a clever ban really from Sons of Peter, and I think it has certainly shown to have a bit of impact given how that attacking half went for Yotaro. Once again, though, we are seeing the gridlock be brought to the table, as well as that glass. And it's, again, these pocket strats I keep hyping up, I keep talking about, because between these, it's like a field day. Between these two, it's just been brilliant. They are really putting the boat out. They're really digging deep, and we're even seeing Maestro be brought to the table. Remember the Alder, it's like a hot knife through butter.
The only thing in which I'm a bit sad about is that we do not see Sense. I think the combination with 100%. Glass is just really an intelligent idea. But it can be counted, as you said. An LMG just pre-firing a long line of sight, and you can also counter such a thing like that. But those are just theories for the time being. The main breach is not opened up yet, as Yotaro has been struggling. It seems like, at least for the time being, Sons of Peter is also struggling to get that done.
I also think we're going to see Packball trying to get into a decent position.
Oh.
There we go. Okay, this is exactly what I'm talking about. He's looking for these heads, but remember the problem with Glass sometimes is if you start to go for those shots, as soon as people hear it, they will just hide. They will know exactly where you are, and they're not going to try and contest it because they know you have maybe a slight advantage. The smoke's about. That was a little bit clunky, a little bit chaotic on both sides. 3 versus 3, Silver. Ew.
Well, I mean, at least they've gotten somewhat the control over side, not over the top floor, and that means the control over side actually itself is relatively thin, as shots can rain down at any given time. Now they have to deal with the utility on side, specifically talking about the Maester camps and all the camps spread throughout the side overall, trying to find a nice little corner to plant in. Is Yutaro aware where that plant is going down? It does not seem like it. Now post-plant, 40 seconds left on the clock, and they have to get control back off their own side. They have to get down there in order to counter defuse. And for the time being, they're trying to find an easy frag onto somebody, but nobody's really exposing themselves all too much. Gridlock, you've been highlighting that operator, and we see exactly why it's pulling off so perfectly. And Dora finds one, a carry with the refrag, 2v2. Tazzy finds one for himself as well. Packball, last man standing to keep this plant alive, but time is certainly ticking away. Will they be able to find him? He finds the first one, but not the second one. And the time is enough for him to clutch out this round.
Oh my god.
And that is such an upset moment if you make it to that plant position.
Defenders win.
Just by 1 or 2 seconds. That's a little bit of that, you know, that's a little bit of that Scotch bonnet chili.
I have a
little bit
lot
spicy.
of different tastes in my mouth right now. You have to think about it, right? We have the diffuser planted.
Yes.
So pressure is on the defense. We have the glass, safe position. We have the track steering on the staircase. A lot of time wasted. You know exactly where they're coming from. And still, they're able to out-frag you and get that counter defuse going. I really think that a lot of potential has been left, not picked up from the side of Sons of Peter.
But also, the main thing about that post-DP for Yutaro is the fact that they played so well around those trades. We saw it from the get-go, going down solar stairs, the swing out, the immediate trade, because you're pushing as a duo. At the end there too, immediately pushing as a duo, pushing at the same time. This is what I'm talking about. Your 3-2-1's on lock. You're making sure you're pushing at the same time. You're making sure you're using the utility all in conjunction with one another. Like, it's the stuff I love to see from them. It's absolutely gorgeous. It's beautiful, beautiful Siege. Even Stevens now, which makes it even spicier, because again, I don't know how this is going to go. Again, both teams really getting a little bit scrappy with it now. Some beautiful, again, I really want to emphasize, I keep bringing up this point, but it's so true. Beautiful use of utility on both sides. Again, the glass being brought out is always a spicy one, and especially on Packball, to be able to just waddle into sight and be like, well, I'm just going to clear all this room, I can see, it's nice and safe, I've got smokes, I can't see anyone's head, so I know this is clear, I'm feeding that information. It's not just about shooting sometimes. Again, the information, the communication you are pushing to one another is certainly key.
Especially if we turn back time, if you think about it, once Yutaro was attacking, they never really had that idea or approach in mind to just vault in the window, have a glass there, cut off line of sight, and punish players who are coming out of safetiness, which is really interesting to see that Sons of Peter is looking differently, not only at operators, but also at dealing with situations in a very, very different way. Speaking about it, different side of course. This time around, we're in master bedroom, as well as the office section. The library seems to be, at least for the time being, one of the main factors for the defense to be worried about. Same goes for the attack. A lot of utility flying towards that Mira window. They're trying to get that open. C4 wasted.
C4 wasted, indeed, but there's still 2 on the table. But will they save that? Will they keep that in their pockets, or will they wait for more jump-ins to occur?
Activate.
Pepper's going to shoot. Ooh, Lolo falls, but Packball falls too. That's so unfortunate. But Tazzy is traded by Acqui. Skypool will fall too. 3 versus 3. This is what I mean. This is what I love. I love it when it gets scrappy. I love to see the bloodbath. And I love to see the kill feed reign so colorful.
Yeah, the rats are certainly coming out as you've asked them to do so. Tab currently being positioned at library stairs, waiting for any defender to come out of position. Well, as we can't see, but obviously he has to have the drones and the place. The positions actually have been given up for the time being from the defensive side. They can get the control back of it, potentially if they drop down a hatch or roam downstairs via staircase. For the time being, at least, it's more a sitting on site, waiting for Sons of Peter to come on marching towards side itself. Aki with a little bit of a setup there, trying to deny the rotation as far as possible, getting in towards that bathroom window section. As we can see, Sons of Peter, they're trying to leverage pressure and angles as much as possible. Obviously, now that you're on the outside of the building, your options are going to be limited and mostly dependent on Tap. As I say, Tap actually falls away. Dora now being one of the factors as well on the window. Is he able to find the frag? If so, bathroom is an open angle. He being spotted, but look at them. Yes, they're exposing a tiny bit, but it shouldn't be enough. 2 seconds left on the clock. Not even enough time to enter the building anymore.
Silly sausage behavior from Zodiac then. You don't have to push fight. You know they have to swing in. Wait for them to goodness me. Anyway, another round on the table for Yotaru. Good to see. Taking the lead now.
How the turns have tabled.
How the turns have tabled indeed. Bit of a running theme, unfortunately, with Sons of Peter thus far. Starting off strong and then kind of trailing off towards the end. Can they try and bring this to even Stevens? Or are Yotaru going to get onto that match point? These are the score lines, right? It starts to get spicy, right? Because it's either even Stevens or match point. There's no in between. You have to keep balanced or that pressure's going to start coming through. That vice grip is going to start coming through strong. Yotaru really need to mind their manners here. They need to cross their T's, dot their I's, make sure they're not getting a bit silly at the end. The timer's running out. Why are you playing? I mean, you could say that they just wanted to pad their KD given the timer was going to run out and maybe, you know, oh, we're going to just get a cheeky one because they're not going to win anyway because the timer's, you know, going. But it's a patience and manners thing for me. It's a patience and manners thing for me. Love to see, again, the fact that we are going to see Capital brought to the table, especially for this site in particular, firebolt off that kind of short section. Oh, we're going for a rehost actually. Go for. Oh wait, no, never mind.
They would have paid for us.
Never mind. There we go. They don't want to wait. They want to get stuck in immediately.
I just want to take the time briefly before the action starting to highlight Skyper. We really aren't highlighting him enough, especially right now. He's really delivering, and if you consider that he's not really playing the main fragger roles, but playing on a flex position, playing even sometimes on more of a support anchor position itself, it is not self-explanatory that he can and is able to deliver on such a high note. Also been doing quite a good job on that first map. That's why I just think that sometimes it's important to give credit, as we always say, where credit is due. On the flip side, Dora, we've been highlighting him on map number 1. He wasn't really able to get in as easy as possible. He's shining more on map number 2. Lolo, Tazzy again, finding 2 for himself. Favorable position once again for you, Toro.
Absolutely.
And now it's danger zone in reach, at least.
Highway to the danger zone, one might say. Zodiac's going to take out Packball. Teb is lurking, though, is aware of that presence. Can try and get a cheeky pick here if they remain quiet. They're aware that Dora is approaching. I think that's going to be a bit of an unfortunate one. You either shoot it out or you run into it, and that's going to give that audio cue to Skyper. Yes, I'm lurking behind this corner. That was nasty. Teb getting a little bit flicky with it. And this is... Again, we could argue, I was going to say quite before storm, but looks like they're starting to get a little bit stuck in. More goos going out. I love that for them. Flashes being sent as Teb desperately, finally, gets that pick on to Raiden. They still have to contest. There we go. Tazzy, once again, a 3K for the round. And 2 smoke bolts in the pocket of Teb, utilizing that last firebolt to try and give a little bit of a safety net, a little bit of a kind of, oh, I'll just sneak away behind this little wave of death. And that's going to be an awkward one. That audio cue is immediately going to let them know, okay, he is lurking around bar. He has sight. But he also, it has a lot of time. Claymore going down just to cover that rotation. Again, it's Capitao every time. Teb could clutch this. There's so much utility. He has a slight control. He is not worried in the slightest because they're not pushing him, because they're not being aggressive. He's been allowed to set this up like this. Look, he can just stick this plant now if he wants to. There we go. Are they able to shut it down? Oh, yes, we are. Okay, never mind. Well, that was anticlimactic, ladies and gentlemen. That was anticlimactic. Goodness me. Oh, do you know what? My heart bleeds there because that was such an admirable attempt. What do I have in my pockets? How can I use this? Okay, I cover split rotation. I cover the hatch drop. I have my firebolts. I utilize my firebolts. I have my smokes left. I put them down. I'm not going to plant in the smoke though. These are a little bit of bait. I'm going to go to bar. And unfortunately, it was a case of close but no cigar. Now Yotaru are finally on that match point, but even more so importantly, series points. And this has been a shocking day, let's be honest, because we all predicted that Sons of Peter would take this, and now we're at match point. Can Sons of Peter bring it back, or have Yotaru once again just blown our minds and warmed our hearts with the way that these guys, we've seen them last year just doing massive things, and it feels like they're on a little bit of a vengeance tour now.
Absolutely. And I mean, once again, effort pays off, right? We really have to highlight this. Same goes for Sons of Peter. They did the adaptations we asked for, especially when they were on the defensive side. But of course, now it seems like the steam train of Yotaru is just unstoppable, going through everything in their way. And it could be final station after this round. It could be over, at least here in the upper bracket for Sons of Peter. If they want to remain in that upper bracket, they have to win not only this map, but take it all the way to map number 3 and then also take the dub over there. Still a little bit of a longer story if they try to attempt to do that, because that would mean we would see an overtime. Nothing is impossible, certainly, especially also if we look at Sons of Peter. But the breath has to be there, the momentum has to be there, and first and foremost, this round has to be there.
This is dangerous. So again, look, I don't know if... No, Akari wasn't aware that... I was going to say, Lolo was just there for about 10 years, just waiting. Akari could have been caught off guard so badly then. Pack ball will fall. No glass to be used this round. That's an unfortunate one. But again, Akari, come on now. Akari, though, being a bit passive, not choosing to take that gunfight just yet, is going to wait, hold a tight angle, get a bit bolshy with it. Speaking of bolshy, Lolo's getting stuck in. Tazzy will fall. Again, the pressure's starting to be applied on both sides, starting to chip little bits of each other away. Running which was the worst pick. Potentially actually that Glaz, to be honest, because again, Sons of Peter, they had an approach here, they had a plan, and that utility, again, Glaz 9 times 10, it's a pocket scrap, right? You're doing something extra special. That's gone now. Skyper, though, is going to be taken out. Lolo could be the one to be in it to win it this round. Could just go in and essentially get his ones. Dora as well, one there onto Akari, a 2 versus 4. But again, Vialda like a hot knife through butter. It doesn't matter because Akwi and Doro will clean up shop. Still not out of the danger zone, but at least getting closer towards that overtime.
Well, and by saying closer, they're only 1 round away of overtime. And then things are really, really realistic anymore. Sons of Peter, they are showing us where they want to be headed. They're showing us that they're still up and living, still alive. But will they be still alive after that round? I know it's a very tough question to ask, but the amount of small and big adaptations